Hello, everyone. We have got Anna Chu back on the show for Less Code, More Power, and she's going to be deconstructing Microsoft Ignite for you, and she's going to have amazing tips to share. So stay tuned.
Hello, and welcome back to Less Code, More Power. Today, we have a guest that probably every single one of you know if you've ever attended a Microsoft event. With us today, we have Anna Chu, who heads up the global tech communities for all of Microsoft, as well as the person who makes all of that magic community engagement happen at Ignite, Build, Expire, all these other conferences that we have. So I'm one of your hosts, Dona Sarkar, and my lovely co-host is
Sarah Critchley. Hey, everyone.
We are so excited to talk to you today, Anna. Thank you for being here.
It is so great to be speaking with you on this side of Ignite.
So speaking of, we survived Ignite. Mostly you survived Ignite. Tell us about Ignite. This was the first digital Ignite any one of us have ever had. So what that was like, what was your experience? And just like top 3 surprises maybe that came out of Ignite for you.
Yeah, this was a 48-hour continuous event. It followed the sun. So we started roughly 8 a.m. on the 22nd of September, and then we finished up at 7 a.m. on the 24th. And so it was pretty relentless. It's definitely, the first time that we've ever done this purely virtually. We have done other Microsoft events virtually, of course, thanks to COVID. We did it for Inspire with the Microsoft MVP Summit, which was the first into the virtual digital arena. And one of the things that really surprised me was how much it exhausted me. I really felt that, with the event typically runs for 5 days, 4.5, but at least you get some downtime. With 48 hours continuous, you do not get to rest. You are going from one session to another, barely enough time to go to the bathroom. And you have to be on every time. You have to be focused. You have to be bringing a game, and that can be really, really taxing. So that is definitely something that I did not expect. And also we tried something new this year. We tried table talks. And they were 30-minute Teams meetings. And really, we wanted to experiment with a session type that was very organic, very flexible. They weren't recorded. They were just meeting points to replicate the sort of water cooler / hallway conversations that people wanted to have. And we've gotten some really great feedback from them. The biggest complaint was that they were too short.
That's a good feedback, right? I guess.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I can always beg to see if we can expand them to 60 minutes and see how we go. But people are just craving community connection because everyone's at home, right? They're at home in lockdown and definitely not doing the same meetups or community user groups that they're used to. So there's a lot going on, and we're just completely changing it's a different show altogether. In fact, Bob Bajan likens it to like television, and that is a fair analogy. But does that come at some sort of compromise to the technical depth that people are used to for an event such as Ignite? So lots of interesting things to learn from this experience.
Definitely.
That's an interesting point. Like, I wanted to just expand on the table topics because, and like you said, you were going from one to the other, and what I really liked about the table topics is that essentially it had that forum based piece as well. So you had which hasn't really been done before. I know that we've had a guest on the show before, Claire, who's done it for the Scottish user group, and that was amazing. And that whole kind of like forum collaboration worked so well. And so to see it at Ignite was so nice and refreshing because like you said, the compromises we have with an online event is the fact that we don't have the water cooler or the, oh, hey, I love your bag, like, let's get talking sort of thing. And it's it's weird. It's like that kind of stuff happens because everyone is there because they love technology. They want to learn more. They want to kind of, be part of the community. And I think that by people being able to contribute in the forums and then attend the table, like the actual talk was really, really cool.
Yeah. I've heard many good things about Table Talks, Anna. From so many people actually reached out and said, my favorite part of Ignite were the Table Talks.
Wow.
Because, many people said this. I've heard this from maybe like 15 people, because they say, the talks, like the sessions itself, because they're recorded, they feel like they can go back and watch them later. But the Table Talks, where they were actually able to have conversation with their peers and do kind of this peer networking, peer mentoring thing, to them was much more powerful and much more useful. So I heard people say like, hey, I stayed up later and did a wait list for a Table Talk just so I could like have more engagement with people from all over the world. So I saw some of those had like 25 plus people in these Table Talks.
Oh, there were more. There was one that had like almost 150 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I think some of it is speaking to the strength of these individual communities. Others are because they just really want to, the topic seemed interesting and they wanted to find a format that allowed them to get to know people in the community. There were also people who were kind of, tech famous, if you will, and, people who've been speakers for Ignites, in the past. So, we definitely wanted community representation here. But it was definitely a completely different format. And I like the fact that you said it's kind of got built-in FOMO, because if you're not there, you miss it, right?
Definitely. It's the same as, like a real, one of the real mixers or happy hours that we do have at Real Ignite, which is, you can catch these sessions online later, but the reason we go to Ignite, physically go, is to have a chat with the speakers right when they come off the stage, being able to catch the speaker, or being able to catch them, in the hotel at the Hyatt lobby that evening, or even at like Universal Park or whatever. It's an opportunity to have that one-on-one, one-to-many conversation with people like you who are in your boat, who are your peers in this industry. I heard that a lot. The Power Platform session, that was the one I dropped in on. And that was crazy because you have Power Plat people from all over the world chiming in. It was like middle of the night for half the people. They're like, "What? This is great. How are you?" And it went from like super technical to how do you look up this thing in a table, all the way to, does anyone know a community in Senegal who does theirs in French? Right? It was so fascinating to watch that. That was really cool.
Yeah. A lot of people, we had a couple of exec cameos. So Julia White popped into one, and Ludo Howdick also popped into another one. And when we were talking to their execs, their comms managers and their business managers, they're like, so can you tell me what this is like? Like, what's the agenda? I'm like, there's no real agenda. It's just like the community getting together. Like it's just, but like Julia White's got an interesting perspective. That one was about, what surprised you about a career in tech. And she had a really interesting insight to say, now I lead product marketing for Azure, but when I first started, I didn't even know what a virtual machine was. And so that kind of like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, that was really cool. And the other one was Ludo. He was in charge of helping Microsoft become a completely virtual, a remote worker sort of company in the span of a month, practically, even less. 150,000 employees all doing remote work with a moment's notice. He was in charge of that. So he put that insight and perspective into the Azure community table talk. And they really were astounded by his experience. And he was sharing that, with the Western Europe community, and they had a lot of questions for him. So, like it's just about bringing people together and you let the conversations naturally happen. But of course, it does take a little bit of work to just say, hey, just do whatever. You still have to put some guardrails to make sure that people just talk forever, and really trying to build in some sort of interaction, right? It's not just about you, it's actually about everybody else who's in the room.
Right. It's just like in person where you're like, shut up, and a voice in this room, right? Yeah. I love that. I personally vote for way more table talks next time because it is just so useful. I know this was so much work for you and your team, but it would be so amazing if we could have these all the time.
I know. I mean, it would be great, but I also know that there's a little bit of event fatigue happening. And I don't know if you guys are feeling it. I mean, are you planning on more community events for the Power Platform community?
You know, we are so, it's equal parts, 50-50. We're all feeling event fatigue. Oh my God, the events. But events also give us stuff to look forward to and hear from people. But then we're super out. So we actually have quite a few Power Platform community things coming up. Just this month itself, there's two main ones. One is called Start Dev Change, and Start Dev Change is a conference for beginners. So October 14th, 15th, that's put on by Cloud Advocates here at Microsoft. So day one is programming, like Hanselman's doing the keynote. It's like intro to Python, intro to JavaScript, intro. So day two is all Power Platform. So it's low code. And it's going to be, the keynote will be Lauren Taylor, who was in Satya's keynote, the elementary school principal, right? And that's going to be all like intro to build your first app, intro to build your first bot, intro to build your first flow, intro, all the way to how do you get your dream job using Power Platform. So it's a very beginners, very targeted conference. That's for they're specifically non-tech audience. I'm like, if you have no experience in tech, this is the conference for you. If you have a lot of experience in tech, this is not the conference for you. Stay home, right? Actually, turn off. Do not join and give us feedback. This is basic. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you know you're gonna get that feedback, right?
Boring. Why are you at this conference? Bounce. So Seth and I are hosting that. And then we've got also at the PowerPlat online conference, which is like the community-driven, community-built conference. I believe October 24th, something like that. It's like a week or two later. And that's very community-driven, 25-minute sessions, some TED-style talks, various levels of content, like super beginner all the way to like very advanced Oakdale, like came out yesterday stuff.
Yeah.
But all community. And the keynotes are the EVPs. So that one's for more of the person who, EVPs meaning the vice presidents of like, James Phillips and all them. So that one's much more for the person who actually has a clue about what Power Platform is. So different ranges, but you're right. I think we're at this point where we're like, we are tired of learning new things. We're just tired. And we talk to each other more and learn less.
Yeah. I think we need to build that at a more regular pace, but at the same time, people just want to break too. They don't want to break from their screens. They want to break from just work in general, right? And it's very taxing for us all mentally. So trying to strike that balance is really great. I personally really wanted to go to some of the virtual yoga sessions, but it just didn't happen. Sadly, it's not something that you end up prioritizing when there's all this other, FOMO-ish sessions in terms of live or just the technical depth that you really need, right? So it's really tough to.
Like, do you find it's where our brain is like, oh, but yoga isn't productive, and it means that I could be much more productive in this other session, or like it is FOMO to a certain extent, but it's that this kind of idea of productivity we seem to have got, and I think that the online piece has probably maximized that to its fullest extent, right? Because it's going to be good for you. Like a yoga session is going to be good and you feel amazing afterwards. It's the same principle as exercise, but we just don't prioritize it.
We don't prioritize it because it's available whenever you decide to actually go and do it. You could just go onto YouTube or somewhere else in order to go and do virtual yoga session, but that one session that's focused on low code, no code with Scott Hanselman, that will be gone within a blink of an eye to interact with that live, right? And so I think it's really challenging for us, especially as event content strategists, to think about how do we think about that overall. How do we think about our audience? How do we make sure that they are coping well while at the same time not missing out on the critical information that they need? There is talk about, whether we should make an event completely on demand and all pre-recorded, but I also feel that, and I don't know if you agree, if you don't give people a point in time to actually be there for the moment, then you actually aren't building in the connective tissue for community to connect at that time. So yeah, it's a real quagmire on what's best for everyone. But at the same time, right now with Ignite, all of the content that we did record is available online for people to watch. So we shall see if we're going to see that cliff of people not engaging anymore because it's just there, versus the week that was.
I feel you on this, where it's this mix of, if we keep having events, people will keep attending them because they will feel like, oh, all of my peers are attending. I don't want to be a loser. This is out on.
Left out. Yep.
And we keep making product announcements, right? Like, oh, here's all these new product announcements. Here's an event to talk about the product announcements. And if someone is just exhausted, I just think so much about our audience. Like, they have their family. And on top of it, it's this expectations that they're keeping up with the industry news all the freaking time.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, okay, you keep up with industry news twice a year at Ignite and Build. It's like every single person has their own conference now, right?
Yeah.
Or an event, and the call for speakers. And I was just looking at how many Power Plat conferences we have, and I love it because the community is so active. But I just think about all of the community members who are like, I have a job, I have a family, I have to keep up with my speaking, I have to keep up with my attending, I have to keep up with the latest thing that came out so I can create content for this next thing I'm speaking at. Then I have to do it all again. And I wonder people are burned out and exhausted because it's like never ending, right? It's just forever ending. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, that's why.
Sorry, Anna, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that's why I had to take this week off, even though I'm recording with you, but I'm very happy to be talking to you. But I definitely needed to cancel this week, work-wise, just so I can actually come back refreshed with more ideas, with just more energy to go back into this again, because it's around the corner. Ignite March is happening, so.
See, I'm excited about that. So Ignite is like Ignite is I would clear everything for Ignite. Like everything else is kind of like secondary. I know that sounds a little bit harsh, but we need to have prioritization. But Anna, I love that you've taken the week off, because I think that sometimes I think not only great role model, right? Like kind of showing that you need to have that time, but you mentioned something really important there, is the fact that you need that time of doing nothing to get ideas and to get, I bet you've been thinking like randomly about, like you've had a random idea when you were just like walking somewhere or something like that. And you need that space for your brain to kind of completely like defrag almost and get rid of all the shit. And get all the great new ideas as well, because I bet you've had loads of ideas from the event itself.
Oh yeah, but I also needed a chance to not think about it for a while. You know what I mean?
Think about like other stuff, non-tech stuff, like your stuff. I think it's because there's more to life than just technology, right? Because it's funny, technology and life is like, I know that they're kind of both. Some people could argue they're kind of both very like largely intertwined, but you still need to have that separation.
Oh, 100%. And the other thing is, like, we do need to distance ourselves just for a moment, just a brief mental holiday from tech for a while, because you can get inspiration from other areas, whether it's the current news cycle, which I know is terrible right now, but still. But there's all these other things that we can, take a look and go, why did I enjoy this? Why did this suck? So that kind of introspection is super helpful, but you need to literally get yourself out of that bubble just for a moment so that you can get those ideas.
I love it. So Anna, we always ask our guests to assign homework for our audience. What is your homework? What would you like everyone to go and do today?
I would like them to go and log into myignite.microsoft.com and just find one session. Just pick one randomly and just watch the on-demand recording, and give us the feedback. Our evals are still open for the event. But you could take a look at some of our great Power Platform sessions. You could take a look at some of the great Humans of IT sessions that we had. There's a lot out there. So it will only take you 30 minutes because they were only very short. So it wouldn't take a lot of time. You could do it while you're eating lunch, but you could also eat lunch without watching anything, which is probably a healthy thing. But if you have a spare half an hour sometime in your day, just take a look, explore, watch a recording, and see if you can get in touch with that speaker and give them direct feedback even. There's a tool, of course, with the evals, but sometimes our speakers just really like to hear that feedback in person, virtually in real time. So that's my homework.
I love that. And she's so right. Speakers want nothing more than to hear your feedback, because half the time they're like, I don't think I'm watching this is the stupidest session I've ever done. And in fact, people are like, that was really useful. Thank you for doing it. And speakers, if they don't know that, stop doing it. Seriously.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Anna, so much for joining us.
Of course. Anytime.
Yes, of course. All right, friends, you heard Anna's homework. Go off. First, watch an Ignite session, give feedback. And second, turn your screen off and get some air and take a walk, get fresh air, derive inspiration from other things in your life. Awesome. We will see you all next time. See you soon. Less code.
More power.
See ya.